It's no secret that North Korea is a pretty messed up country. Scarring citizens into submission and brainwashing people with crazy propaganda are all part of the country's status quo. But things are even worse for those who are in the army, which is something that pretty much every North Korean is forced to go through. Make sure to keep watching until the end to hear about what the North Koreans did to an American defector's tattoo. Before we get started, make sure to like this video, subscribe to The Richest, and hit that notification bell. Now let's get into the messed up hierarchy of the North Korean army. Due to North Korea's mandatory service, men are required to serve in the army for 10 years while women must serve for 7. However, your military service can be reduced if you are accepted into university and you're only expected to serve once you've graduated. But soldiers are actually encouraged by government officials to voluntarily serve another year or 2 beyond what's expected of them. In doing so, soldiers can prove their undying loyalty to the great leader Kim Jong-Un. According to Kim Jong-Un, who served 25 years as an officer, military training only takes up 40% of their time, while the Kim Il-sungist Kim Jong-ilist ideology takes up the remaining 60%. Learning this ideology involves being taught that they must sacrifice themselves for the Kim family. They are successfully brainwashed to believe that they must always obey and protect the Kims no matter how ridiculous demand may be. North Korean soldiers aren't individuals, they are simply tools for the North Korean authorities to use in whatever way that they please. Kim Jong-un also admitted that people change after going through the military. Gentle people turn violent, and model students turn into thieves. What these soldiers go through is truly messed up. You probably already know most of this information, as it's no secret that North Korea mistreats all of its citizens. But did you know that the amount of food that North Korean soldiers get is determined by their unit? Because of their military-first policy, you'd assume that soldiers are the best-fed North Korean citizens. Yet soldiers don't really have access to the private gardening plots that civilians rely on for food. Some soldiers will manage to plant crops in their free time, but the majority of them have to depend on what's given to them. The military uses a system called noruma to determine what food goes to which unit. For example, ordinary soldiers are allotted much less than submarine sailors, as the latter are considered to be more important. High-ranking military officers are reportedly given cash cards to thank them for their loyalty. 4-star generals receive $1,200 on their card each month. 3-star generals get $1,000, and 2-star generals are given $700. These cards can be used at multiple stores and restaurants in Pyongyang. This money is given to them in addition to their salaries, which makes being a general seem like a pretty sweet gig. But while you might think that being high up in the military is better than being a regular soldier, think again. Although you might get more food than the low-ranking units, top military leaders are more likely to face punishment at the hands of the great leader. This is what happened to 2 key North Korean military figures back in 2017. It is alleged that these high-ranking officials were punished for taking bribes. But ever since Kim Jong-un took power in 2011, military leaders only seem to keep their position for about a year before they get purged. Some experts think that the great leader is doing this to stop military leaders from getting too powerful. If they're lucky, these ex-military leaders will be given a job outside of the military. If they're unlucky, they're executed. But let's take a little break and talk about the 4 American soldiers who defected to North Korea in the 60s. Charles Jenkins, Larry Abshir, James Dresnock, and Jerry Wayne Parrish were all young adults when they decided that better opportunities awaited them in North Korea. They were put together in a house and were forced to learn all about North Korea's questionable culture and ideologies. Life in North Korea wasn't all fun and games for these defectors. Jenkins admitted that in the beginning, they were regularly submitted to beatings. He even had a tattoo of the words US Army that was sliced off by the North Koreans without any anesthesia. Things became better once they were finally given North Korean citizenship, but Jenkins deeply regretted his decision to defect. Perhaps the most frightening thing about this country's military is its capabilities. While there are reportedly 1.2 million active soldiers in North Korea, many of them are too malnourished to fight. Yet that doesn't stop the military from reportedly owning more than 4,100 tanks, 11,000 air defense guns, 5,100 multiple rocket launchers, and 730 combat aircrafts. And we already know that they have a growing nuclear weapons program. While North Korea has promised the world time and time again that they would give up their nuclear ambitions, they've never followed through. And now that things are heating up between the US and North Korea, who knows what will happen? North Korea is a strange place that you're better off staying far, far away from. That's all for the messed up hierarchy of the North Korean army. Do you think it's possible for things to ever change for the better in this hermit kingdom? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.